Hi people, this is an exam practice for NQF Level 2 Maths TVET College. So I'll be doing functions and bit of algebraic expressions and equations there. I'm not gonna do entire question paper, but I know you've passed this if you're a TVET student, so I'm gonna do questions there, right? So this is the first video. There will be the second video and so forth, because maximum minutes for TikTok, it takes only 10 minutes. Okay, let's get into it. So I'll be doing question. It's kind of blurry there. I'll be doing this question 2 there, right? So I'll be doing question 2 and explaining on how you can do this question there. Alright. Right, so let's get into it there. Right, so the first question there, as you can see there, I'm gonna just write this. The first question there is that given the graphs of that, so g of x equals to x squared. So there is a quadratic or a parabolic function or parabola function there, right? So get into it. So 2.1.1, it says what type of a function is represented in g of gx, right? So 2.1 f I've just said there, I've just read the statement. I've mentioned which type of a graph is this. So this graph is a parabola, a quadratic function, quadratic function. Right, so that's number one. The first question says what type of a function is represented in g. 2.1.2, it says is g of x a continuous or discontinuous there. So the answer there is a continuous function, right? So that's a continuous function, right? So a continuous function is a type of a function where, if you can check here, the graph starts, it comes from there to infinity, it goes up, it turns here, then goes to infinity. So it does not end, it's continuous. It's all up in. So I am a top. So there's a continuous graph there, right? So when this is discontinuous, they must put points there. That hardly shows something like this. You see this, they put it here, and that they put it here. It means it starts from here, it ends up there, right? So that's good, discontinuous. So in this case we have a discontinuous there. So no, in this case we have a continuous. It's continuous, the function is continuous, the graph there is continuous. Then we have 2.1.3, right? So there they say 2.1.3, they say what is the equation of axis of symmetry for the graph of g, right? So looking for the equation of axis of symmetry. The equation of axis of symmetry, guys, is the x value of the turning point, right? So if your graph is being given in this form, it's y is equals to ax squared, right? Okay, this one is ax squared plus q. So your axis of symmetry is always x equals to 0. As please, you should note this, ne? If you've been given this graph, right, this type of a function, x is always equals to 0. Right? So x equals to 0. It's always like this. Because why so? This graph, it does not have the horizontal shift. It does not go left or right. It only goes up or down. So it always turns on the y-axis, whether it frowns or it smiles there, or right, or whether it has a minimum value or maximum value. So it does not go this way or this way. It only goes up or down. Right, so the equation of axis of symmetry is always like this there, so you must take note there. So it means x is equals to 0. It's always like that, right? So please take note of that. As I was saying, so there I'm done with 2.1 there. So yeah, let's proceed there. So now let's do 2.2. 2.2 is this question there. This question that we were doing questions on parabola. Now we're going to questions on hyperbola. 2.2.1. They say, what is the mathematical name for the graph of f? So that's a hyperbola. A hyperbola. Hyperbola function. Then number 2, they say use the answer sheet to sketch the graph of f. So unfortunately, I'm not a learner, I'm a tutor. I don't have an answer sheet, but I can give tips on how do we sketch a hyperbola function. So certain things that you should take note of whenever sketching a hyperbola function. So it's how. So let's just turn to another page. This is a small page there. Let's just turn here. Let's put this here. So this is how. Let me pause. Okay, let me just write how. There you go. How to sketch a hyperbolic function. There are certain things that you should take note of. First of all, is the a value. Right? Whenever I'm talking about the a value, let me show you what I'm talking about. The standard equation for hyperbola is y is equals to a over x plus q. Alright, this is the standard this. So a that I'm talking about is here. So the a value. So the a value talks about the shape of the graph. Shape of graph. Right? So it's the shape of the graph there. So the shape of the graph. We're talking about the shape of the graph, guys. We're talking about whether the graph goes like this, right? Or whether it goes like that. So this one is when a is negative. This one is a is positive. Right? The shape of the graph. Secondly, the asymptote. Well, secondly, upon that, you look at the a value, the shape of the graph, how it's gonna be constructed. Secondly, you look at the asymptote, right? Then thirdly, it's the intercepts, right? So then after that you can sketch. Alright. So yeah, I'm gonna break here. Catch me on the second part of this, right? As I proceed with this question. Stay tuned.